Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Tulianos, brought to you by his book, Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which just released a brand new revised edition. You can get that on his website, gtoul.com, or on amazon.com. Please welcome from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Tulianos. Welcome, Doctor.
Hi, Ron. Less than 2 weeks, 10 days.
10 days. Woof. Are you getting ripped? Are you getting lean?
I'm getting bigger, I think, and a little bit leaner, yeah.
I think I'm getting smaller, but I am getting leaner. So, people wanted me to downsize. It seems to be happening even without me trying. So, except for my legs. So I guess I'll be healthy for you guys. You want me to go down to 180? We'll see if I can do it.
That's a nice shirt. You got it from New York?
Well, they promote Steve and Bev. They promote 2 shows in Boston every year. We have the Cutler Classic coming up in 8 weeks or 9 weeks, and then the New England. So whenever they come to the Boston shows, they have a table with all their stuff. And I really need to get another one. I like this. I should get one in another color because I can't wear those thick hoodies. You know, a lot of guys wear those real thick.
I watched Big Ramy training in one of those. You know, he was so huge.
Yeah, dude.
He's a hot favorite, you know.
He's the one I think everybody is dying to see what
He's
this guy's
taking this very seriously. And I think it's about time for him. He's mature mentally and physically. You know, he had the year left, so to take some energy and to relax. And now he's crazy. Huh?
I mean, maybe he wins the Arnold Classic. Maybe he wins the Olympia this year. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be below 300 in order to be really ripped.
Yeah.
Size is not an issue for him. You know, it's just about maturity and being shredded.
Yeah, he competed when he won the first time he won New York Pro was the first time I saw him, and I believe he was about 280, 285. But then he's competed as heavy when he won the Arnold Classic Brazil a few years ago. I think he was like 315.
Yeah, but it was not that tough lineup.
No, there was like 6, 7 guys. It wasn't anything major. Anyway, Doctor, we have 11 questions for you today, so let's get the ball rolling. Number 1, when is the best time to take T4? Pre-workout, first thing in the morning, or after a meal?
I think it's first thing in the morning, and afterwards you have to wait for 20 minutes in order to be really absorbed. Now, this validates in case you swallow the pill, but if you take the pill sublingually, I guess it gets rapidly to the bloodstream within 5 minutes when the powder gets dissolved. So afterwards, you can have your breakfast.
Okay.
But endocrinologists suggest that you have to wait 20 minutes after you swallow it, in an empty stomach, of course, in order to be really absorbed. Otherwise, they observe that patients who take their T4 medication do not have the supposed levels because they eat afterwards, you know.
So does it normally come? If I've seen it, it's been many years. Does it come in like a hard tablet, or does it come in like a capsule with powder inside?
No. Everything in Greece about the thyroid hormones come in a tiny tablet. It's like a Remidex. It's a tablet.
Okay. Oh, just a little
It's
tiny.
a capsule that you have to open up the capsule and take the powder.
Oh, so you could bite that open and put it under your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
If you really, that would speed things up, I'm sure. You don't have to wait for the gel cap to dissolve in your stomach. Okay, doctor, we have a long question, so sit back and relax, doc. Here we go. I'm a 32-year-old male. I've been training for 17 years, all natural the first 8 years. Some SARMs cycles in my mid-20s, mostly Ostarine and S4. The whole time I've done blood work, and it's always been good and healthy. Last year, at the age of 31, I did my first AAS cycle, 14 weeks of 500 milligrams testosterone a week, 12 weeks of 50 milligrams of Anavar daily. Medical grade steroids. I suffered no side effects beside poor sleep. 8 weeks after, my hormones were back to normal and my whole blood work panel was perfect. I knew when I started steroids it would never be a one cycle only. I knew that this was something I would keep on doing. I know that I will end up on TRT eventually. I have pretty good natural hormone levels. S testosterone is 25. Free test has been 10.1, reference 2 to 2.9 in my country. So starting TRT now is not necessary. If I was going to stay natural, but I'm not. So my question is this. Considering long-term health and longevity, let's say I do 1 or 2 blasts a year. Mostly I will use testosterone, Primo, and Anavar. Do you think it would hurt my body a lot more to go down to TRT levels of test between the blasts instead of doing a PCT every time and using Nolvadex and HCG 2 to 3 months a year? I know I'll make myself dependent on exogenous testosterone before I need it, but that's okay. I'm more worried about my long-term health and longevity. I will do this with supervision from my doc, controlling blood pressure, liver enzymes, blood, and cholesterol. It would suck to have 3 to 4 months each year feeling crap and with low sex drive on PCT and after. This is why I'm considering TRT this early, especially considering that I'm in a relationship with a girl with high needs. Before you give your answer, I had one solution for him. If your girl has high needs, you just marry her, and she won't have high needs anymore. That's how it works. How's it going, guys? Huh? Okay, so he wants to blast. He wants to know, should he be doing PCT every time after he finishes a blast, or should he just do TRT like 200 milligrams of test a week? What would you do?
Well, it's up to him, but as a doctor, I have to tell that you should give a while for your hormones to rebound, and also being really off from any kind of hormone, either testosterone or synthetic derivatives like steroids. Now, PCT ensures that your hormones will rebound and will catch up until your next cycle. In the meanwhile, you have to perform better, sexually, your mood also. Now, I know the Greek IFBB pro that I know him for 10 years. He told me that he never used a PCT. He never followed a PCT since he was 20 years old because he knew one day that he will eventually end up an IFBB pro. And of course, we know that IFBB pros never get off. So they remain with testosterone and some kind of steroid. But the point is that they never get off from any steroid, including testosterone. So instead of PCT, they follow TRT. But this is another story. This is a commitment for a lifetime that you have a tunnel vision, and you take this very seriously. Now, if you follow TRT without using a PCT, your balls will be shrunk, It'll be like, very tiny, like your...
I resemble that remark. How dare you, doctor?
Yeah. Another thing is that your cum shot will be negligible eventually. You're going to have organs without having ejaculation. So, and besides, of course, fertility will going to be zero. So in case now you don't want to follow a PCT because you believe it doesn't work and is not enough, you may use HG along with your cycles and never stop using this. And also along with your TRT also. But I think it's more healthy and more reasonable to follow a PCT and try to get off from any kind of hormone use while you are off from cycles, okay?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to end up hypogonadic really sooner.
Yeah, this guy's
Today,
only 32.
I had a case at the office. There was a 29-year-old guy who never had shows. He followed cycles from his 23. Now he's oligospermic, meaning his his fertility is really low, and his total testosterone is 150, even after PCT. So he ended up hypogonadic because he never followed seriously PCTs before his 30s. Can you imagine what kind of commitment now he has to follow from his 30s for the rest of his life for TRT?
It depends on how long he lives, right? If he only lives to 40, it's only another 10 years. But if you're going till 90, woo, you've got a long road ahead of you, guy. Here's a good one. I think you've answered this before, but it comes up all the time. What about using HGH, human growth hormone, and insulin together without taking breaks off insulin to avoid insulin resistance induced by HGH?
Now you have to see how much is your A1C, glycemic hemoglobin. Some people that watch their diet and they don't eat hyperglycemic carbs, junk and sugar, or trans fat, and they don't develop a mental fat, they have no insulin resistance and they have a good insulin sensitivity. If you also eat essential fatty acids and plenty of protein and plenty of fiber. So never mess your diet, especially with carbs, while you are on GH, because you favor insulin resistance and pre-diabetic state. Now, those IFBB pros that they're using at least 8 IUs in the morning and 8 at night, so 16, which is something really casual, okay? It's very something, let's say, to get on an Olympia stage, you need at least 16 per day. They will develop insulin resistance. That's why they use alongside insulin, to lower the blood sugar levels. Now, you can also use instead metformin, but there's supposedly that metformin will hinder you against because they believe that it lowers mTOR and IGF-1. So somebody also asked me the same. I told him, how much is your A1C? If it's, it's approaching 5.5, then you should consider using insulin, or at least control your diet and take some metformin or chromium picolinate, because insulin resistance and diabetes is among the side effects of growth hormone.
Wow. 16 IUs a day. Who is paying for all that growth hormone? I don't think these guys.
I heard that 24. Wow.
In a situation like that, I guarantee you that they're not paying for it. Somebody's giving them that growth hormone. That is so much money.
When I was at the Olympia, I was sitting next to a former Olympia. We're friends, he's old now. And he showed me a video in his cell phone. It was open up a fridge and all the stores were GH. It was about $20,000 in GH. All the stores, GH. Crazy, huh?
Whose refrigerator was that? I want to break into their house. Anyway.
I don't know.
Okay, next question, also about growth hormone. Everybody loves the growth. Here we go. I'm cycling human growth hormone 2 IU before bed on an empty stomach. IGF-1, LR3, 20 units before workouts in the intramuscular, each side of the muscle, and testosterone suspension 1 ml weekly. Is it a good cycle? Also doing letrozole 3 times weekly, early morning, empty stomach.
How much of test he's using?
Looks like it's only, he says 1 ml. So test suspension, does that usually come in like 200?
So just to 50 per week?
Yeah, looks like it.
And he uses 3 pills of letrozole. This is crazy.
Wow.
He doesn't. He can. He barely needs 2.5 milligrams of letrozole. That's enough.
Maybe he doesn't. That's if he's only using 200 or 250, maybe he doesn't need any letrozole, right?
Yeah. 3 pills are crazy. Yeah. Now about IGF-1, you have to shoot it after your training, otherwise you're gonna die from hypoglycemia.
Oh my God!
Unless you eat 1 pound of rice before your training, it goes. I shot IGF-1 LR3 one year ago exactly.
Yeah.
And it was the lowest dose because I used the insulin syringe, but the small one, not the big one with 1 ml, the 0.5. So just one line, and after my meal, and I start shivering. I told you that I ate 5 oranges.
Yeah.
So right after, to the muscle group you have trained, shoot intramuscularly. And also never on your belly because it's supposed to enlarge your visceral fat. Always intramuscular. But if you use something intramuscularly, then it gets rapidly into the bloodstream. Therefore, the hypoglycemic effect would be far more severe. Therefore, you have to eat in first place enough of carbs and afterwards shoot. Now, if it's in the subcutaneous, then it's a slower effect of hypoglycemia. You can control a little bit because the absorption is poor in the fat.
Let me ask you, doctor. I've heard that with IGF-1 that it does cause localized growth in the muscle group you injected in. Is that true?
Also, MGF does the same. Yeah, I've heard of that. And people, they can balance their lack of symmetry, or if they, for instance, there is a torn pec, they can heal locally. There's this belief that hyperplastic phenomena. Not hypertrophic, so means more muscle fibers.
But if that's true, couldn't say you're a pro and you have a really weak upper chest, could you shoot that in your chest after every workout and within a few months you'd have a huge...
Supposedly, yes, but poor genetics, you cannot reverse poor genetics.
Damn it, dog. So my arms, there's no hope? Okay, here we go.
Now, instead of that, in the arms, they put synthol, they inject MCTs.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Here's a question from Eric Gravison. Eric, thanks for all the questions, Eric. He's always commenting on your videos here. But you type in all caps, Eric. You got to take the caps off. It's a button over here. Caps off. Anyway, I see they have a nasal gel so as not to get any test on your woman. Is this better than the regular gel?
What are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Okay, so testosterone now, is it coming in nasal spray? Have you heard about that?
At least it's not available at the moment.
Yeah,
But I heard that it would be nasal spray that will really absorb,
Yeah.
In that case, yes, because it's like cocaine. It gets really absorbed because it's very close. The second cranial nerve, which is, it has to do about smell, the sensation of smell.
Yeah.
So it's very close to the brain. So the effect is really rapid.
Right.
And the absorption is way more fast,
It seems to me, I'm not an expert on pharmaceutical delivery systems, but it seems that if you did that and it got in so fast, it would be out of your system very fast too.
I don't know. I think this has to do with the half-life.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like you'd have to be snorting this stuff like 3 times a day, but I don't know. I mean, the gel, I don't hear a lot of people I know that are on TRT that used to do androgel. They just do a shot now.
We apply it on the forearms because the skin is very thin, and we rub forearm with forearm because if we apply it on the palm, it's like a glove and takes away everything. So we have, what is the vein, air surface, we have to rub, and also the wrists. People that do not train, they have thin skin over here.
Yeah.
If you apply it on the thighs, it's full of fat, for people who do not train, or in the belly, in the stomach. So there's no absorption. I have observed that in lab work. There was a guy who started using gels, and he started applying them on the chest, on the stomach, on the thighs, and the levels never elevated. Afterwards, he used it on the forearms. It started elevating, or in the scrotum, of course.
So it can't go through a lot of body fat, it sounds like.
No, it cannot. It cannot.
Wow.
No. You need thin skin.
Well, you need to stick a needle that deep through that blubber of yours, dude, and get that test in there. Okay. Next one. I'm on TRT, 200 milligrams a sip. I do 2 100 milligram shots a week. I want to run a cycle of Sustanon, nandrolone phenylpropionate, and Winstrol. Do I have to taper up and down or just blast the whole way through? I want to be on for 10 to 12 weeks.
Now, there are 2 different ways of cycling. One is a pyramid, which is up and down, and then you taper down. And the other is the straight arrow. These are the 2 basic things we do, and they're also described in Anabolic's book. Now, elevating gradually gives you the feeling that you become stronger and stronger, and you peak eventually, and afterwards you decline. And as you decline, you don't feel this kind of cold turkey stop,
Yeah, okay.
Which is lack of withdrawal. However, we have to know that HPTA is shut off from day one, especially when we use testosterone. Now, about the straight arrow, you do not develop abscess, because when you pick over here and you have many mLs in your butt, you're very highly likely to develop abscess because of a lot of oil into your butt or into your delts. So there is a massive abuse over here,
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to do, for instance, in 8 weeks, your best records, because you have the most year within you. But I believe the straight arrow is more cool, and I follow that. I used to do also the pyramid, but injecting more and more and more, this is, I don't like it mentally,
Yeah. I mean, another thing to consider is, because if you're using these long-acting esters, obviously NPP is not, but if you're using testananthate or something, it's gonna taper down on its own eventually. When you stop using it, it's still gonna be in your system for a couple weeks. It takes a while to clear. But yeah, the whole pyramid thing always seemed very complicated to me. Question about the pituitary axis. Can you list the top 5 anabolics that shut down the pituitary axis?
Number 1 is testosterone. Number 2, the derivatives of testosterone, which is equipoise, halotestin, fluoxymesterone, and also methyl testosterone. Now, also, what shuts off the HPTA is the progestins. So DECA and TREN, the derivative of DECA. And also another fact that shuts off HPTA is the androgenic index. So halotestin, trenbolone, the very high androgens shut off because they bind enormously tight with androgen receptor in the brain, and they shut off HPTA. So three factors: testosterone and its derivatives, progestins, and androgenic index. Okay.
Yeah.
So what suppresses the least is DHT derivatives and compounds that they do not aromatize, that also DHT derivatives, and compounds with low androgenic index, DHT derivatives also. So Primo, Winstrol, and Anavar suppress the least the HPTA, but they suppress to a degree, you know.
Yeah, I mean, any steroid's going to suppress it's going to shut down your own production. But that's good to know. So Primabol and Anavar, Winstrol, the three least dangerous to your pituitary axis. Now about the prostate. What is easier on the prostate? 250 milligrams of test per week or 50 milligrams of Anavar per day?
Well, I believe the steroid that has the least impact on the prostate is DECA because it metabolizes to dihydronandrolone. Thomas O'Corn also describes this in Anabolic's book, and not to dihydrotestosterone. That also enlarges the prostate, you know, and we elevate PSA. Now, I believe that another factor that has to do with prostatic enlargement is the androgenicity, the androgenic index of a compound. For instance, high androgens like halo and tren will have enormous impact on the prostate through the DHT reduction. Okay, they're very high androgens. Now, the question was about Anavar and testosterone.
Yeah.
Now, mind that, of course, we know testosterone is reduced to DHT, but Anavar is a derivative of DHT, you know? So there is a familiar thing. But the good thing about Anavar is that it's the least androgenic compound, okay? So we can speculate that has less impact on the prostate than testosterone.
Gotcha.
Of course, this is a genetic thing also, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't hear from the ladies very often, but we got a female here asking a question for you, Doc. This might take you a while. I want to ask the doctor about women's cutting cycle and bulking cycle. Which agents and in which doses should we use? I'm sure that could be a whole show, but see what we can do in a couple minutes.
To be safe, bulking for women would be low androgens, anabolics with low androgens.
Yeah.
And that would be injectable Primo, 100 milligrams per week, and injectable DECA, 50 milligrams per week for bulking, okay? Yeah. Both of low androgen. Never touch androgens with women. Okay, so test, Masteron, Proviron, halo testing trend, unless they don't care about the virilization effects. Now for cutting, we skip Primo, we put it, we may use it in the first part of the cutting, but of course we have Winstrol and Anavar. Also, of course, we use Cytomel and Clopidogrel and Ecastacos. Okay. But about the anabolic agents, we have Primo and DECA to the off-season, and then Winstrol and Anavar to the cutting.
Okay. For the Winstrol and Anavar, what kind of doses do you see?
Listen, the Winstrol comes at least every other day, so it has to be about 200. But I believe that the side effects are also dose abuse because they get accumulated. Right. And Anavar, let's say the least would be 30 because we have the 8-time half-life.
Wow. So
30 milligrams of Anavar and 50 milligrams of Winstrol every other day.
30 milligrams of Anavar.
Unless you use the Winstrol pill, that comes also in 30 milligrams, like Anavar.
Yeah, I mean I talked to a good amount of women, and 30 milligrams of Anavar. That's a big dose for a gal. So yeah,
I've heard more from bikini. I've heard of 50 from bikini.
Oh God, if you need 50 milligrams of Anavar to look good in a bikini, come on, girls. Okay, wow, another Anavar question right up next. I swear, guys, I didn't do this on purpose. Doctor, do you think adding Anavar on a TRT protocol with 200 milligrams per week? So I guess he's doing 200 milligrams of test a week. So 15 milligrams of Anavar before training, only 3 times a week for training with high volume would have some benefits. And do you think the fact that Anavar is metabolized in the kidneys, it can have negative health effects for this organ?
For how long, Anavar?
Doesn't say. He just wants to use it. I think he wants to use it forever, 15 milligrams before workout.
This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. I would suggest use...
But he only wants to do it 3 times a week, 15 milligrams, the Anavar.
Yeah, for life, no. For life, no.
Okay.
He can use Proviron along with TRT, and he can use also a little bit of DECA for his joints, because DECA is beneficial for the joints. Also, besides, it's a good anabolic.
Yeah.
Now, about the question related to kidneys do not metabolize. Kidneys excrete. So that means that they flush. So metabolic activity comes to the liver, Yeah. Liver becomes stressed. Now, kidneys become stressed as a result of elevation by blood pressure induced by certain anabolic stimulants, Yeah. So this is why tren is kidney toxic, because it elevates blood pressure.
Okay.
And becomes toxic to the glomerulus, which is the filter of the kidney. Now, the glomerulus is basically what it does. It receives blood and it turns it to urine.
Okay.
But it filters all the substances, Eventually, blood comes to the kidneys, and then we pee urine.
He at the end he said, would stanazolol, Winstrol, be a better choice than Anavar?
Carol, take off the 17 alkylated. I would say a little bit of DECA. Use it the way I use it, with an insulin syringe. Small doses, like it's on a pill form,
Yeah.
5 or 10 milligrams. Yes.
Yeah, 10. You're doing just 10 milligrams of DECA a day, right? With an insulin syringe?
At the moment, I do 5 every day. But when I don't blast, I do 5 every other day. That's nothing. But it's enough for my joints and to keep a little bit of this kind of fullness in my volume.
Well, we also know that your DECA over there in Greece is real. It's real DECA.
Yes, this is a major factor. Yes, I will never touch something which is not pharmaceutical. For instance, they tell me to use Primo, but I have to go to Turkey to buy Primo.
Yeah. How far is that?
I become so suspicious all those years. You have to use good stuff through your body.
Yeah. A lot of people don't have a choice, unfortunately, but they got to put the garbage in their bodies.
I used a lot of shit when I had to compete. Right. You don't have this kind of you don't have the chance to use everything pharmaceutical. How was using a lot of garbage?
I mean, a lot of that stuff they don't even make for human beings, like tren, and no pharmacies making tren. Okay, final question, doctor. How long should a person be on HMG, and is it better to take HMG intramuscular or subcutaneous?
I think all the water-based peptides can be used subcutaneously. So HCG, HMG, HGH also, IGF-1, MGF. But also you can inject it intramuscularly. Now, the HMG, what I tell to my patients who are of low fertility, to use it along with HCG at least for a month, for 4 weeks, and then evaluate your seminal diagram, and see how it goes.
Okay, cool. Well, doctor, a week from Thursday, I believe you'll be on the panel for the Arnold Education Seminar in Columbus, Ohio. And what is the top? It has a topic. What's the subject of your seminar?
It's the good, bad, the ugly, just like my book. But the point is, we're gonna discuss about TRT, pros and cons, and also SARMs are coming to the table. CDB, and also I told to Michael Palmieri, who's responsible of the round table, to introduce also the harm reduction, the medical prevention with PEDs use, Cool. So it's gonna be Rick and Bill and me and myself.
Nice. And
I hope to meet and Ronnie Coleman is gonna be there also. I think so.
Yeah. Well, I think he's part of the Sunday seminar.
Yeah, sure. And also Jay will be on the Sunday seminar.
Yeah.
And I want to give Coleman my book. Yes, I want to give to Coleman my book, and also I hope Arnold will show up and give him a book picture. Yes.
He's there. Every Sunday after. For those who don't know, every year at the Arnold Classic, the shows are over Saturday night, but Sunday morning there's a seminar, a showcase where they have Arnold comes up there and he talks. He's basically
just like the Olympia, the day after the show. Yes.
And they have the winners. It's and some legends like Cutler. It's really cool. I believe. I'm not sure if it's free or if it's only for VM. I think it's free. I don't know. I always have a press pass, so I get in there. But it's very interesting. If you guys have a chance and you're not too hungover, you should check that out too. So Thursdays, the educational Arnold Education Seminar with Dr. George and Rick Collins, a few others. And then Sunday morning, you have Arnold, Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. Whoever wins the Arnold is going to be there. So it's a lot of stuff going on.
The gala party right after the finals, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I hope I get to it this time.
With
by the time
show up, huh?
I know. Usually by the time we're done with everything we need to do, and then we go eat, the parties are over. But you know, I'm there to work. I'm not there to party. I do like to party though. Anyway, Doctor, looking forward to seeing you there. We got one more show, right? One more show before the Olympics. And that will be number 52. That'll be a full year of Ask Dr. Testosterone episodes.
Can you imagine when we started the show, the show, 365 afterwards, I would be to the Arnold Classic.
I believe it. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not shocked.
Yeah, I believe that all this series were a promotion for myself to convince that I can be in this round table. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, you have an important message you're trying to get out there. We need people like you and Dr. O'Connor, and there's not many others who are really getting this kind of information out there. It needs to be. It needs to be made public so people understand what TRT is all about, and you know that these things are very different from what the media wants you to believe. So good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Doctor, thank you so much. I want to encourage everyone one more time. Pick up the book, Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Just came out with a brand new revised edition. Get that on Amazon.com or on the doctor's website, gtool.com, gtoul.com. Everybody, also one reminder, if you're subscribed, that's great. If not, subscribe to this channel and hit that little bell so you know when we come out with new videos like this one. But every Tuesday, you know, is Dr. T Tuesday. We release these videos on our YouTube channel and on musculardevelopment.com. And Dr. T comes out with a new article every Tuesday on musculardevelopment.com. So check that out.
And from next month in April, Alan Golding told me that I can have 4 pages on the Dr. Testosterone, you know. So 2,000 words articles, you know.
Wow, that's like one of my articles.
Yeah.
Except I have to do like 12 of them every month. Anyway, here we go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Doctor, thank you so much for your time. We're all getting excited about the Arnold Classic, so gear up, everybody. Thanks for watching. Ask Dr. Testosterone, and we'll see you next time.